All right, welcome to another video here on Very Cold Lasagna. And today we're going to be talking about some major news that recently came out around the world of the NFL. And of course, that news is all about Deshaun Watson, quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, aka the Skid Marks. So, in case you missed it, in case you don't really follow the NFL, let me give you the long story short version of it. Deshaun Watson, quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, was accused about a year or so ago for sexual misconduct on a variety of women, and this investigation took place by both the NFL and even the government got involved. And recently, about a month or so ago, or a couple weeks ago, if I get my facts right, a retired federal judge ruled that Deshaun Watson violated the league's personal misconduct policy and suspended Watson for the first 6 games of the Browns' 2022 season. However, the NFL challenged that ruling. They appealed it and wanted a season-long suspension. And after some back and forth between the league and the NFL Players Association for a good 2 weeks, they both came to a mutual decision. The Browns, and they're not going to have Deshaun Watson for the first 11 games of the 2022 season. So Deshaun Watson has been suspended for 11 games of the 2022 season. Plus, he has to pay a hefty $5 million fine and attend some behavioral therapy, if that's correct. Otherwise, if he doesn't comply with the behavioral therapy, then his suspension and his reinstatement could be further delayed. So, what are my thoughts on this? Well, it's pretty much a conclusion to this long saga. Why do I say conclusion? Well, Deshaun Watson has pretty much in his immediate presser all over SportsCenter. Like after the decision was announced, he's ready to move on. He's given his apology. You can give or take on how you feel about that apology. As well as, well, the Browns are ready to move on as well because they're not going to have Deshaun Watson for the first 11 games of the season, and they have Jacoby Brissett as their backup. So they're going to roll the dice with him. So for the Browns this year, it's pretty much going to be a throwaway one. It's going to be a throwaway one. They're not going to have Watson for the 11 games of the season. It's going to be a tough sledding without Watson. The first 4 games of the year are pretty manageable. They could sneak out like all 4 wins between the Jets, the Falcons, the Steelers, and I think it was the Panthers that they play. But then from there on out, you're playing the Patriots, the Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals, and the other teams as well. Oof, big oof. Especially with Jacoby Brissett as your backup. Now, don't get me wrong, Jacoby Brissett's not terrible, but he's also not like the greatest backup ever. So Kevin Stefanski's going to be relying a hell of a lot on his running game and his defense to do the dirty work, to get Cleveland some upset wins throughout the season. And I don't foresee the Browns like making a late push for a wild card berth late in the season, even with Deshaun Watson coming back for after the 11 game suspension. Because, well, like who knows by that point? I don't foresee Jacoby Brissett leading the charge unless he pulls a hat out of his rabbit, which should be the other way around. But either way, the Browns should be treating this like a throwaway year, even if they don't have a first round pick for 2023. But I mean, like, it's not really worth trying. It really isn't. There's another thought that comes to my mind. Like, how does this how does this relate to the 49ers? How does it relate to my team, the San Francisco 49ers? How does it relate to their quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, who has been connected to the Cleveland Browns in regards to this whole Deshaun Watson saga? Well, in case you don't know that, well, Jimmy Garoppolo has been linked to a number of teams, including the Browns, in regards to this long trade saga that the 49ers have been involved in just trying to get rid of him because, well, they have Trey Lance now. And, well, unfortunately for the 49ers and Jimmy G, they should not trade him to Cleveland. I hate to say it, because, well, it's only if it was the whole season that Deshaun Watson was suspended for, I would have understood. Like, yeah, go fetch whatever you need to get Jimmy G, and the Browns can technically take on his contract because they have the most salary cap space left at $49 million, and Jimmy G's contract is at $26 million. So for like a 1-year rental, and maybe they don't trust Jacoby Brissett, but it's only 11 games, and this is basically a throwaway year for the skid marks. And by the time Deshaun Watson gets back, like, so what? You're just gonna put Jimmy G by the wayside like Andy did to Woody, and in the first Toy Story, it's like, I don't want to play with you anymore. It's like, no, Andy, no. So that's what you're basically gonna do with Jimmy G. I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns actually did trade for Jimmy G for only 11 games, because they are technically the skid marks. You know, you wipe your ass and then, oh, look, it's the Browns on my toilet paper. It's my freaking skid mark. So I don't think the Browns should trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. It's pointless to do so, because, again, it's like, why should they only trot out Jimmy G for 11 games if they're just going to go to Deshaun Watson for that Houston Texans game in Week 13 and roll with them for the rest of the season, and so he can, like, get some reps in. Plus, they already had Jacoby Brissett during their offseason to learn the playbook, to learn Kevin Stefanski's offense. By bringing in Jimmy G, it's like kind of an indictment that, well, Jacoby Brissett sucks. And yes, it could be true, but at the same time, he's already been there for like the entire offseason since he signed there. And you're basically making Jimmy G learn the playbook right then and there for what, a week, 2 weeks, and then throw him in there. I don't know. Let Jimmy G choose his team. Just let him choose his team at this point. So overall, yeah, that's how it relates to my 49ers. They shouldn't like fall into the bait of having the Browns, or maybe they should, because the Browns are stupid. But I don't foresee Jimmy Garoppolo being traded to the Cleveland skid marks, because it just doesn't make sense for Jimmy G to start 11 games and then get thrown away like Woody did in Toy Story 1 for Deshaun Watson when he comes back. It's pretty much a throwaway season for Cleveland because, well, you just roll the dice with Jacoby Brissett. You could sneak out a couple wins, but basically this season's all about like when Deshaun Watson comes back, getting those important reps in and then prepare for 2023. That's all I can say. So pretty much the Deshaun Watson saga is all and done with, unless something else comes up dirty for him. But I want to know your thoughts on the final verdict, at least final for now, the final verdict for Deshaun Watson and this whole saga centered around him. So I would like to know your thoughts. And do you think that this was the right call, or do you think these are a bigger suspension? Let me know your thoughts. Anyway, this is Very Cold Lasagna. I'm Dylan Lasagna, signing out of this video. And until next time, peace out.